Hi, in this video I'll share with you a nutritional advice for Kapha Dosha. Kapha Dosha in Ayurveda is a metabolic type that has quite slow metabolism, and in this video we will review different types of foods and adjustments that Kaphas need to make to feel their best. And my name is Lena and I'm Ayurvedic practitioner at Santi Ayurveda and currently doing training to become a Kundalini yoga teacher as well to complement my Ayurvedic practice. So let's start with understanding Kapha Dosha. Is the metabolic type that's made up of two elements, according to Ayurveda, is water and earth. And qualities that Ayurveda associates with Kapha Dosha is slow, steady, moist, smooth, oily, cool, and heavy. Now I'll tell you a secret. Shh. Your Ayurvedic practitioner will try to identify which of these qualities are out of balance, are predominant in your body, causing you imbalance. And this is how two Kapha types can have a different treatment protocol. And it just highlights that all of us are very unique in our own way, and approach to getting us to the balance is also unique. In terms of Kapha characteristics, they are very calm, gentle, very slow. They have a normally very soft voice. They also enjoy their comforts. They're not keen on risking. In terms of learning, they will take their time to learn. But once they understand the subject, and it tends to take them longer to understand it, but once they do, they have amazing memory and they remember for a long time. How does Kapha compare to Pitta and Vata? So Pitta type of person would be very organized, very well spoken, will have very good arguments in their speech. Perhaps sometimes they could be very controlling. They normally take leadership positions and they really enjoy that. High achievers, they love luxury lifestyle, looking nice, bodily, in terms of body, they're very well built. Vata type of people are very free-spirited. They are flowing and they have lots of air element, and that creates lots of creativity, expression. They hate the rules, they hate limitations. They just free spirits, very light, but if out of balance, they can have anxiety and overthinking. Essentially that energy will just not go to the right places. But it's very light, creative, fun kind of individuals. And when you meet Kaphas, they are very grounding, very slow, like just have a lot of motherly energy. And you just feel very safe, understood. They just lovely people, very cuddly, and they love children. They're very patient, they're very nurturing. Where is Kapha located in the body? And it's normally upper part of the body with kind of mucus, any organ with mucous membrane, which is nasal passage, chest. Essentially everything that produces very slimy consistency is associated with Kapha. So some general observations for Kapha. The Kapha time of life would be childhood. So you can see children craving Kapha foods such as bread, butter, so anything quite heavy in substance, pasta, they just love that type of food. And you will also see that they are more prominent to have bronchitis, sinus infection. They produce lots of mucus. Their metabolism is slowest out of all doshas. Hence, it's a good idea to allow some time between the meals for the food to properly digest. Another sign of Kapha or how you can identify kapha, is that tongue is coated in white coating. And it's a sign of ama or toxins in the body, and it's normally caused because food did not get enough time to digest. White tongue will indicate that you need to take, maybe have smaller portions, do a little of fasting, essentially just to give that food time to digest. Because all undigested food in our body is turned into ama, toxins, and morning is a kapha time of the day. If you notice, it's so hard to wake up and we want to sleep in, and it's so unnatural for us to rush anywhere. We just want to take it slow. And if you observe nature in the morning, it's very cold, wet, and all these are kapha qualities. One of the Ayurvedic principles is like increases like. So in the morning, when you have this wet, cold qualities around you, it's just unnatural and not recommended to have any cold meals such as smoothies with ice in it, spinach, cold leaves, any dairy products, just that kind of cold and heavy food. But instead, for you to feel in balance, you can introduce some foods that contains opposite qualities, very light, spicy. So for example, stewed apples, stewed pears, with a little bit of spice. Make lunch your main meal, the heaviest meal, because at lunchtime the sun is at this peak, so as your digestive fire, and you can digest larger meals, whereas in the evening the sun goes down and your digestion weakens as well. So for Vata and Pitta, if they have a heavy meal in the evening, that might be more forgivable. However, for Kapha, it's important not to overeat at night because it is going to cause lots of health problems in the long run. So no heavy meals at night. Make your lunch main meal and have a light breakfast that is spiced well, is warm and nurturing, and is definitely needs to be satisfying meal as well. A lot of people associate kapha with somebody who's a bit more heavy, but it's not actually true. If kaphas have a good exercise routine, they will normally be medium build and very balanced. However, it is very common and it's very risky if they relax a little bit and have too much TV time, heavy dinners, and they quickly go out of balance. And if you had to compare Kapha's body type with Vata, who has much more thinner body frame, that there might be some dryness in the body, cracking joints, or Pitta has very good muscle mass, might be like quite athletic people, athletic looking people, but they also can have perhaps red hair. Sometimes I find lots of Pittas have red hair. They can also have acne, maybe hair falling out, these kind of symptoms, lots of inflammation in the body. But in Kapha, in Ayurveda, is said to have the most amount of ojas, which is immunity. They are quite well built and they normally healthy for a long time. However, if they come across a disease, it means it's progressed there for a long time, because those diseases, those imbalances are built over time. So it's good to catch it as early as possible to save time and to be in balance. So Kapha is responsible for 5 tissues: muscle, bone marrow, lymphatic system, adipose tissue, reproductive. Taste for Kapha dosha. So it is said that Kapha split predominantly should have astringent, bitter, and pungent tastes. Why? Astringent and bitter tastes are associated with air element. They are drying, they have very drying effect. And a pungent has a heating effect, and these qualities are opposite to Kapha, therefore it will keep Kaphas in balance. So let's use example of potatoes. If we're cooking potatoes with lots of cream, lots of butter, and just that becomes quite heavy for Kapha to digest, and you can notice that sluggishness when you have that kind of meal, compared to, let's say, if you are Kapha and you like potatoes, you can soak them before cooking to remove the starch, then perhaps oven baking them with a little bit of oil or ghee, and adding some spices like cayenne pepper, normal peppers, a little bit of salt, not too much, rosemary, and just oven baking them, and that would be much better option for Kapha. So drinking water for Kapha. Kapha has a very stagnant lymphatic system, and therefore having water is just not enough, and it's not going to produce the best result. However, if you have some warm water with perhaps juice of ginger in the morning, that will start moving things and unclogging that Kapha buildup, especially in the morning. Another great drink would be ginger juice and tulsi. Tulsi is an amazing herb for Kapha. It removes Kapha buildup and helps with respiratory system, lymphatic movement. So it's just a perfect herb for Kapha. If you can access tulsi, just have that, include that in your morning drink. But in generally for Kapha, they don't need too much water, because one of the big problems that Kapha would be facing is water retention. So drink when you're thirsty, just sip some warm water with like a spiced water throughout the day, and for the best result. Hot drinks. For Kapha, it's best to avoid English breakfast tea, let's say, or any milky teas. However, if you're having English breakfast tea, add some spices. Just make sure it's more of a chai tea rather than just bland tea. If you like coffee, again, I'm not the biggest fan. However, sometimes it's nice to have a coffee. And if you're having one, just have it black bitter coffee instead of adding sugar, milk. So none of those are advisable. Also, it's a great idea to add some cardamom or cloves or cinnamon in your coffee, just again to spice it up. That would be a good option. Carbs is a big topic for Kaphas because they love it, and unfortunately carbs aggravate Kapha. When you have bread and even gluten that contains gluten, you can kind of even sense that it just glues everything, and Kapha is already very sticky and slimy in qualities. However, if you have a good quality sourdough bread, it's a good alternative that might have millet, buckwheat, good quality 2-3 times a week, and I think that would be a very good alternative for Kaphas. Also, flatbreads that have no commercial yeast is another good option. Reducing rice, perhaps mixing rice with quinoa or wild rice that have lower glycemic index is a good option. Buckwheat or barley. So there are alternatives that can keep you full and satisfied. Microgreens. So I've been asked before about microgreens, and I think it's a nice topic to cover as well. Microgreens, I guess it's known as a superfood, but Ayurvedic community is quite mixed about it. There were some references in Ayurvedic texts where sprouts were mentioned. So it's really how you feel and how your body feels after having microgreens. I would advise having them a bit cooked, spiced with some ghee or oil. Nuts and seeds. So with these type of proteins, we need to really consider the caloric measures, and these should be limited to 15 to 20 grams a day. If you want to enjoy them as kapha, you should have nuts such as almonds, chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, popcorn. You can enjoy small amounts of those. Meats and eggs. So you can enjoy, it's not recommended to have too many eggs for kaphas. However, you can enjoy egg white omelette, just essentially reducing the yolks in your diet. In terms of meat and fish, you can have chicken breast, very dry chicken breast, turkey breast, very dry type of meat, and enjoy freshwater fish. Pulses. Pulses are great for kapha, and you can enjoy yellow mung beans, green mung beans, brown lentils, red lentils. Most of them are really great for a kapha type. I would also suggest just to make sure they're soaked, well cooked, and you can add asafoetida. That also helps with bloating when you consume pulses. Vegetables. So veggies for kapha, the rules are simple. So you just avoid any starchy veg such as potatoes, sweet potato, aubergine, that type of thing. I'm not saying you can't have it, but just be mindful of the quantities. The rest of the veggies is best if they baked with the very little oil, and you can have maybe even make your own spice mix with cumin, coriander, pepper, cardamom, and just have that on your veggies whenever you cook them. Essentially just favor veggies with lots of fiber, bake them, steam them, add limited amount of oils and lots of spices. Fruits are great for kapha. You can enjoy them, especially if you're feeling a little hungry between the meals. Have a little bit of fruit. Just avoid any starchy ones, as bananas, avocados. Also, watermelon and melon are not great for kaphas. So if you can avoid those. Also, dry fruits, they are high in sugar. Again, that's best to avoid it, but otherwise you can enjoy fresh seasonal fruits if you hungry in between your meals. Again, try not to have them as dessert or mix them with your meal. Fruits should be consumed separately as per Ayurveda. Dairy. So dairy for kapha is not great. However, if you want to enjoy it, enjoy, let's say, a glass of milk during the day and make it warm. You can warm it up on a stove. You can add some cinnamon, cardamom, just to spice it up and to help the digestion. In Ayurveda, they don't mention they don't mention milk consumptions in the quantities that we do nowadays. It was medicinally used in small quantities. It's best to avoid milk in the morning, evening, spring and winter time. Otherwise, you can enjoy a glass of milk if you wish. In terms of cheeses, cottage cheese, paneer would be the best option for kapha. Oils and fats. So again, because kapha has oily qualities, you want to limit your oil consumption. However, in Ayurvedic texts, they mention that corn, sunflower oil and ghee in limited quantities can be used and enjoyed by kapha. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Just remember, this is a generic advice for kapha types. you definitely need to listen to your body and how these adjustments feel for you, because a lot of us can be mixed with Kapha, Pitta, Kapha, Vata. And then you kind of need to take a different approach. So this is advice for a standard Kapha individual.